Hello, artists. Today we're continuing our discussion with lines, the video that you saw, and today we're going to talk about cutting. We're going to cut and we're going to glue. We're going to open what's called the collaging studio next week, so I want to give you some practice with scissors and glue before that happens. So first I want to tell you this is the worksheet we're going to be working on today. So the first thing we always do is write our name and teacher code. I'm just going to write name and TC for teacher code on the side of my paper. And before you start with the cutting, I would like you to go through and trace your lines. Your straight lines, your wavy lines, your zigzag lines, your scalloped line or cloud line, castle lines, and there are shark lines. I know some of you had trouble. These are not easy, artists. They're just kind of back and forth, but for some of us who are still learning how to hold our pencils and write our names, this one can be tricky. So if you want to skip this one, that is A-okay with me. You can challenge yourself and try it and see how we do, but I don't want you to get frustrated because remember, you come to school to learn, and we learn by practicing. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, about scissors. So scissors, one very important thing is scissors are only used to cut paper, okay? They're not used for anything else, just cutting paper. So if you need to get up to get something, you always leave your scissors at your seat. They should only be in your hand if you are cutting your, that's right, paper. So I have my name and teacher code on my paper. I have traced all my lines with my pencil. Now I'm going to practice cutting. So scissors, if you notice, there's two holes on the scissors. I want you, when you get your scissors, to look. There'll be a smaller hole, that's for your thumb, and a larger hole, that's for your fingers. So the big hole, I can only fit my first 3 fingers in here. You may have to leave your pinky out. Some of you, smaller hands, can fit all of them in there, but they shouldn't be squished. So if you need to leave your pinky out, you can. And then your thumb goes in the smaller hole. And when using scissors, you always want to hold them this way. Thumb up. You can think, remember it like thumbs up. So you want your thumb up, and then with your opposite hand, or your other hand I should say, you're holding your paper. When cutting, you don't close your scissors all the way when you cut. You just do little chomps, because the cutting happens in the back of the scissors, not up front at the top. So that is something that is confusing, and maybe adults forget to tell you that. But you cut with the back of the scissors, not with the front. Because when you close the scissors all the way, each time, it makes it harder to cut, especially these different curved and zigzag lines. But also it can create small tears in your paper, and we don't want to rip our paper. So I'm going to hold my paper in my left hand because I'm right-handed, and it should be whatever hand you use to write with is the same hand you're going to use to cut with. So I'm going to start, like I said, at the back of the scissors, and following my line, I'm just doing little chomps. Now you'll notice as I cut, one side of my paper is going down and the other side of my paper is staying up. That helps it so your hand doesn't get stuck and can move along the line easily. Chomp, chomp. And I'm going to stop where my dotted line stops. And moving on to the next one, again, like I said, it makes it easier. Now I'm going to turn my paper with this hand, my left hand, so that I can line my scissors up. And I'm going to do little chomps, and I'm going to slowly turn both hands. So it's the hand that's holding the paper is turning, and my little chomping hand is turning, so I can follow. And you can let go of the paper and grab it like I'm doing. and readjust as you need. Just pause with your scissors. And I'm going to go follow. Again, notice I've never closed my scissors, just little tiny chomps all the way across. Now, with zigzag lines, and actually these cloud ones and these castle lines, there is a trick. You can't go continuously. Anytime there's a point, you have to take your scissors out and readjust. And that's why I pointed out how the paper, one side goes up and one side goes down. Now again, I turn my hand, I stop at the point, I take my scissors out, then I have to turn my paper and line it up again with the back of my scissors and close just to the point. Turn my paper again so that I'm always cutting out and towards. This is a little bit slower, but this is how we cut when there's zigzags. You just have to take your scissors out, and notice every time putting them in, one of the papers is down and one side of the paper is up. It's the same with the cloud line. I'm going to go down, reposition myself, put my scissors there, and come back up. Again, just doing little chomps for the curve, stopping when I get to the point, take my scissors out, and then aim back up again. So every time you go down, take your scissors out, readjust, and go back up. That's the same with the castle lines too. Here I'm just going to do a little baby chomp and then turn up. Take my scissors out, turn. Basically every time you get to a corner, you have to take your scissors out, readjust, and then cut. Okay? So, that was a lot of steps. I'll go into the gluing after. I'll pause the video now. Okay, so most of us have had everything cut. What you're going to do with the glue is on the back of your paper, at the top where you haven't cut all the way through, taking the cap off your glue stick, you want to make sure that you don't ever roll the glue stick up really high. Right? That'll cause it to break off and the glue to smush all over the glue stick. So you want to keep it pretty low, and when you're gluing, you don't want to put the glue where you're gluing it to, but on the thing you're attaching. So I'm going to attach this paper, the white paper, to the black paper, so the white paper is where the glue goes. And just one line will do you. One line across the top, and then I place my paper so I can see my name and I can see my lines. Once you've completed this, make sure your glue stick is rolled back down. If you rolled it up, use a paper towel to clean it up if you need to, and make sure the cap is on. I will come collect these. And once I do, you can get your free draw paper and go be artists.